Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Cyber Revolution podcast. I'm Adam Hewitt, the CEO of Cyber Revolution, and today I'm joined by a former student of ours, Matthew. How you going, Matthew?
Yeah, doing well. Yourself?
Very well. Thanks for your time. So the reason we've got Matthew on is because he's recently landed his first cybersecurity job. So well done. First off,
Thank you.
we're going to get into all of the details of how you went through your studies, why you decided cybersecurity, and how you landed your first role. And also have a quick chat around, I know it's only early doors, but around your experience so far in the industry. Before we do that, I want to give all of the new listeners of the podcast a bit of an overview of who this is for. We're finding that we're getting a bunch of new listeners each month, which is really exciting. And so Cyber Revolution, we are Australia's only dedicated cybersecurity training and placement institute. We specialize in finding people their first job in cybersecurity. And the reason that we started a podcast near 85 episodes ago now, which is pretty crazy to say, is because there are a lot of common misconceptions about cybersecurity. There's a lot of interest. It is a booming industry, but there are a lot of unanswered questions for people that want to look at transitioning or changing careers into cybersecurity. So the point of the podcast is to not only break down those misconceptions, but also just educate people on this really amazing industry and for them to find out whether it is going to be the career choice or not. Okay, so if that resonates, if that sounds interesting, then this is the podcast for you. All right, Matt, let's get into it.
Alrighty.
Start from the beginning. You mentioned that you've listened to a few of these podcasts whilst you're studying as well, so you probably know some of the questions that are coming your way. But let's start from the very beginning, from the start. What sparked, the idea of you making a career change into cyber?
Well, I've always kind of had a bit of an interest in IT, going back many years from just getting the hand-me-down computers, having to work out how to fix them, get my games to run, basically, like as you do as a kid. So
yeah,
always had that in the background, and I was just ready for a change as well. Like working in retail for almost 14 years, I was ready to do something different. I thought I'd take the leap and jump into the world of IT.
And so you were in retail. What was your actual role in retail for 14?
I did a little bit of everything. So mostly I worked a lot of the receiving bay, like the back dock, so all the logistical side of things on the back end, to the shop floor, to being like a junior manager. So just an all-rounder, really.
14 years. Okay, so that's a long time in one industry.
Exactly, yeah.
How did you know that it was the right time to make the change after 14 years?
Well, I didn't really enjoy the job progression in it, and I was just ready for a change. It's getting a bit monotonous day in, day out.
Yep. Okay, so 14 years, you'd kind of reached, I'm assuming, the top role that you could?
Oh, yeah, to a degree. I just, wasn't my kind of thing anymore. I was kind of ready to close that door and start a new chapter.
Yeah, cool. So what was it about cybersecurity that drew you in? Anything specific? I speak to a lot of, the students what was the impetus for them to make the change? They might have been hacked, or the family members might have been hacked. What drew in? What was it about cybersecurity that drew you in?
I just found it interesting. Like, obviously, there's lots of incidents these days that are quite publicized. So start listening to like different cybersecurity podcasts and things like that. And you're just like, oh, I could see myself doing that. So
the Cyber Revolution podcast.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. So it was interesting. Was it? I'm just trying to remember. It was a while ago when you enrolled, wasn't it? So was it in and around the Optus and Maybank attacks?
Yeah, I think it was just after, potentially.
Yeah,
time flies. It's hard to tell when's what anymore.
I refer to that often. I'm like, I sometimes catch myself thinking it wasn't that long ago, but it actually was, a couple of years ago.
I was one of the unlucky ones as well in the Optus things. I had to change all my details.
Yeah.
With everyone else. So
well, I think the majority of people were right. It was 15 million people in Australia got something stolen. So it does seem, it does seem recent, but it was 2 or 3 years ago now. And we talk about it here at Cyber Revolution in the industry that it was kind of like a necessary evil, that attack.
Yeah.
It was horrible. A lot of people's data stolen, but it did spark a lot of change within government. And actually, an interesting fact I heard the other day, prior to the Optus attack, the largest fine the government could give an organization that might have been showing negligence or not securing their data properly was $2 million. A few months post the Optus attack, it was 120 million.
So it's a big difference, which is good, because I feel like lots of companies will get complacent as well and not invest any money in it because they're not having any issues until they do.
Correct, exactly. It's more like a reactive, and if we get fined, it's a couple $1 million for a big company like Optus. It's nothing. It's like, we'll take that.
But it's like the risk kind of thing.
Exactly. Sorry, I keep saying 140. $120 million um, that actually got a lot of CEOs and big organizations and boards' attention. And now, funnily enough, I read the other day that out of the top 200, so the ASX listed companies in Australia, 90% of those CEOs, their number one focus or fear or whatever it is cybersecurity within those organizations, which is good to hear, because 4 or 5 years ago, I guarantee you it wasn't cybersecurity. So I kind of feel like that big Optus attack, whilst it was bad, actually has sparked a lot of really good change, and now
Yes.
people are being more proactive.
It was a wake-up call, which is good.
Yeah, exactly. So what that actually sparked is, now that companies realize how vulnerable they are, they need people. They need, people to be able to secure their network. That has created this national cybersecurity shortage that everyone talks about, right? And so you are part of filling that cybersecurity skills gap yourself.
Yep.
You've landed a role. Can you tell us a little bit more about the role that you've just landed in cybersecurity?
So I've just landed a role at an MSP, so it's more general IT, but I plan to get into more of the technical cybersecurity side of things down the road as I learn and develop as I go.
Yep. And so for everyone listening, an MSP is a managed service provider. So do you want to maybe give it a little bit of an explanation of what the company does?
Yeah, so it's basically you're running a business and you have to deal with IT. You don't want to deal with it yourself, so you outsource it to another company and they just manage all the infrastructure and go
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of companies, they don't have the resources, the cash to have their own internal cyber or IT company. So they outsource it to a special managed service provider that looks after a bunch of different organizations' networks. And so you're in that IT sector with the skills that you've learned, looking to transition into more of the cyber role soon.
Yep, that's the plan.
Amazing. And they're on board with that, the company you're in?
Yeah. Yeah, they're open to self-development and progression, so it's a good place to be.
Awesome, mate. Great. And you said off air before, but we started the podcast, that you're learning lots.
Oh yeah, always learning every day. Like it's just something different. A new challenge will pop up, and you have to try and work as a team to try and solve the issue.
Yeah. Yep. And so what was the experience like? If we just go back, I'm keen to learn a bit more about it, like a day in the life. But if we go before that, what was the experience like? And you don't have to go into too much detail here, but the interview process and the application process specifically for this company.
Oh, it's pretty simple sort of application process. So, one of my friends works with the company, and they were like advertising a role, so put my name down for that. They obviously liked what I saw on my resume because I had all the help, building it up from you guys as well. It's
Yep.
always good.
Yep.
And then there's just like a pre-interview sort of thing. So like a phone call. It's kind of general get to know each other sort of thing. And after that, it was more of like a formal interview, sit down, asking some basic technical questions and things like that. And
Cool.
then smooth sailing from there.
And then from there, and how long
Yep.
ago was that?
Almost 4 months ago now.
4 months. Okay. So how's the last 4 months been?
Oh, it's been really busy.
Yeah.
Lots of learning, so it's been great.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. And so we bang on about it here. You hear everyone, hears me talk about it. A lot of people, they might think about, cool, if I do a course, I get into an industry, that's kind of like the professional development done. I've done my certificates to get a job. We always say in cybersecurity, like that's almost when the real learning starts, right?
Exactly.
That's when it's continuous learning. So the number one trait we look for our student candidates and our employment partners look for is, does the candidate enjoy lifelong learning and continuous learning? So that's something that you like doing?
Yeah, I've gotten in quite a routine as well, which is good.
Okay, cool. Can you give us a little bit of a glimpse into what your routine is?
Well, I just get up early before work, so currently it's a bit crazy, but 4:30 wake up every morning. I study for like an hour and a half, and then get ready for work and go to work.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. That is crazy.
yeah, but
And
it works for me, so I'm sticking
yeah,
with it.
exactly. As you said, you're in a routine and it works. And the best thing about IT and cyber is you get paid on your skills. You know what I
Exactly,
mean? The more time you put in, you're incentivized to learn these skills, because if you get this certificate, you're going to earn more money, right?
exactly.
And so, okay, so moving on, before you applied for these roles, you obviously were in retail for 14 years,
Yeah,
and you're looking to make the change through a number of reasons that you mentioned before, like progression, etc., just something different.
yeah.
What stood out about, once you decided to get into cybersecurity, why did you decide to choose Cyber Revolution?
Well, I actually had a friend that went through the program as well myself. So Daniel, he went through the program. He really enjoyed it. So he recommended me to it. So I had a look into it. I like what I saw, and then I jumped in.
Daniel, and Daniel's last name?
Riley,
Daniel Riley.
yeah, he's one of the early ones.
He got in, and he was from memory a road worker.
Yeah, did
Road
a bit of everything. Yeah,
everything really, switched on guy, but needed a change from construction, and he landed a role pretty quickly. I think he got a job
yeah,
within 60 days of joining up.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Okay,
doing really well.
so he I should reach out to him. I haven't spoken to him
Yeah.
for some time. He's still loving it.
Oh yeah, he's loving it.
Cool. So you obviously, did you see his success and then go, cool, this is for me. I want to do it too.
Yeah, yeah. And he was kind of egging me on a lot as well. Like, yeah, I need to do this sort of thing. So
Awesome. So you saw the proof is the proof is in the pudding, and someone else
yeah,
had done, like, all right, this is
yeah.
jump in.
As long as you put the hard work in, you'll get rewards in the end. So,
Exactly. Were you a little bit nervous, kind of making the leap?
oh yeah, that's for sure.
what, what helped you kind of overcome that fear?
Just the open communication with everyone on your end, because I had lots of chats with you previously before signing up and reassuring me about my learning permit, like learning journey and path. So
Yeah,
it's been good.
good. So you researched everything, made sure you
Yeah,
ticked all the boxes, and then
yeah,
just do it. Good,
exactly.
good, good, good. And so on your studies, I think it's important. Everyone's a little bit nervous and excited before they jump into the program,
Yeah,
but you have to be more excited than nervous. And then once you get into it, you've just got to go kind of all in and almost like detach yourself from the outcome. The outcome is getting a job, which everyone's in this for. But you almost have to detach yourself from that. Otherwise, you lose focus on the task at hand, which is getting the skills and certificate, right? That's taking each day, each week, each month at a time and enjoying your studies. And so why do you believe you were kind of so successful at your studies? I've spoke to the team, I've spoke to Zara, your student support officer, but what was your kind of routine, if you will, for your studies?
well, I think it was consistency really. Like initially when I first started, I had to kind of relearn how to learn being out of school for a while. And
Yep.
after I got over that hurdle, I thought it was pretty good. Like it was pretty, I wouldn't say cruisy, but like you put into work every week and you get rewards for it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Just
I spoke to Zara
yep,
in around, I guess, why she thought you're successful, and the word consistency definitely popped up.
yeah,
Like you mentioned it now with your work routine and your study
yeah,
routine. It's about, putting the hard yards early.
yeah,
Yes, because if a lot of our students, they haven't studied for 5, 10, 15, 20
yeah.
years. And so
It's hard.
it's hard starting. It's like when you
Yeah,
don't go to the gym or you haven't been to the gym in
exactly.
months or a year, and you're like, I've got to get back up. Your alarm goes off
Yeah,
at 5 a.m. or whatever it is. And
yeah. Trying to roll out of bed.
this is hard.
Yeah,
But after doing it, you're keeping that, consistency day in, day out, it gets easier.
it does.
And it becomes a habit, right? And so you had your set days that you studied, set times, and you just stuck to it. Was it very, you were quite diligent there?
Yeah, it's pretty much Monday to Friday, and then some on the weekends if I had spare time as well.
Amazing. And how did you find your studies? Because was it a bit intimidating coming in? Because you said you had, you didn't have any formal IT background or qualifications or anything like that. So it was a little bit, I guess, overwhelming having to come in and learn these new skills again.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a challenge, especially the A plus. Like just getting my head around all the information in there, all the technical stuff you had to remember for the exam,
Yep.
and just actually taking the exam as well was pretty nerve wracking. Like,
Yeah. An exam is, it's a big moment, crescendo
yeah,
moment. It works really hard for, and we've got a super rigorous process to make sure that our students have,
mm,
dotted every I, crossed every T in order to be successful. And we've got a really high success rate, but you are going to be nervous for it.
yeah,
But what I guess reduces those nerves is preparation, knowing that you put the work in order to, to be successful. And so with that, like, what part of the program did you find was, the most rewarding, or did you get the most out of? Was it the labs, the mentors, the support sessions, the lectures? What was it for you that you really like? Yep, this is, what I'm enjoying most. I'm going to, sink my teeth into.
well, what really worked for me is I would do the majority of my study using the lectures, watching them, taking notes, and then if anything I got stuck on, I would use the books and the resources like that to get
Yep.
into the more nitty gritties on do further research from there as well. There's plenty of resources online you can find for all these topics, so
Yep.
got to kind of spread the net,
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
like nuggets of information. Really,
A little bit of everything worked better.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I find.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. The practice exams are really crucial. We're going
Yeah,
through at the moment. We're building out our own exam handbooks, we're calling them. So
Yep.
we're just for our students listening in, and we've created for every single certification exam preparation handbook or exam guide. It's quite a dense resource, hundreds of pages for every certification. It's got practice exams, how to prepare for the interview, because we're a big believer in that our service or our product, the course, the program that we deliver, the three core pillars have stayed the same: training, support, and placement. But we're always trying to get better results for the students and always try and create new resources. And so for the past 6 months, we've been creating these exam guides. And probably by the time this podcast comes out, early 2025, maybe January or so, we would have released them all. And so it's going to be another resource for the students to try and calm their nerves, because it is
good.
It is.
Read that.
Yeah, exactly. And did you do your exam online or face to face?
I did them all online.
How did you find it?
I had some mixed results sometimes. I've had some issues with network connectivity as well, which stressed me out for a while. Like my network kind of dropped out before my exam, so I was running around the house like getting my Wi-Fi set up and all that. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's been all right.
Yeah.
Never had any issues with getting my room cleared as well, because you have to like have your room cleared, nothing nearby, so you could like look at information or cheat or anything like that. So
Yeah. Exactly.
read some horror stories online of people like getting their exam revoked and things like that.
Well, if you're listening in, whether you're a student, know by now if you're a student of Cyber Revolution, but if you're just about to, sit your CompTIA exam and do it online, do not get up to go to the toilet.
No.
All right, go to the toilet first. Don't get up and go to the loo, because you will be instantly failed.
Yeah. Another tip is try and do your exam during the week, because I tried to do one of my exams on a Saturday morning and I spent an hour in queue waiting to start my exam.
Really?
Yeah. So it depends how busy they are, but that was just one of my experiences. It wasn't ideal, but
No. And then also another tip as well, coming towards the end of the year, a lot of people try and cram their exams in. They're like, oh, the end of the year's happening, I'm going to do it in December. And they wait till the last week of December and there's no availability. So do it early, or just study and do it early in the year is another tip. I guess just going back to, before we go on to my final question, I wanted to revert back to your role in the last 4 months. So you've gone from being in the retail sector for 14 years, complete career shift into the IT, and now the IT/cyberspace. What does a day in the life look like for you? Kick yourself at 4:30 in the morning.
Obviously coffee. That's the most important meal of the day. You need that. And once you get into work, you kind of check what's kind of being posted on the triage board, and then take some of those technical tickets and work through those.
Yep.
Work on the ones that you've already taken previous days and continue to work on. Pretty much rinse and repeat. Just work through the tickets, solve problems.
Yep. And you find that so problem solving is a big skill, right? That you're figuring out. So it sounds like when you say it like that, it's like, cool, problem solve it, and it's kind of the same thing day in, day out. But I'm assuming each problem's quite different.
Yeah, each problem can be different, and then sometimes you're building devices for clients as well and setting them up. Like you get to build computers, firewalls, all sorts of things, and deploy them.
Amazing.
So that's good fun.
And how did the study and the certifications prepare you for the real world?
Well, I just think gets you all your fundamentals in place. So when you get into the job, you kind of be like, oh, I know what that is. I can just build upon that. Like, this is great.
Yeah, because it's not completely foreign. You've actually seen it kind of before in the practice.
Exactly.
Like, not too new to you when you're in the real.
Yeah.
Good.
Exactly.
Amazing, mate. Well, it's only just the start. We're definitely going to have you back on the podcast maybe in a year or two when you're thriving in it and have learned a bunch of new skills.
Yep.
And so we were talking about tips previously. I always end the episode and I ask the guest to shed some wisdom for some people that are listening that are looking to, make the change that you have. So for someone that is, sitting on the fence, and it's probably a bit different for you because it's the way that the human psyche works. If you know someone that has done it and been successful, like Daniel for you, is your friend, he joined the program, complete career change, got a job straight away, you're like, I can do it. But there are a lot of people that, are looking to do this themselves, and they don't maybe have that social proof, and they might be sitting on the fence about a career change into cyber. What would be your 3 top tips or pieces of advice for someone like that are looking to take the leap and change careers into cybersecurity?
I think just go for it, really. You just jump in, there's definitely a big support network as well. Like I know when I was studying, there was quite a few people in the program that we had that group chats with and things like that, collaborated,
Yep.
bounced ideas off each other when we got stuck.
Yep. So jump number one, just do it, get into it.
Just go for it. Yeah. What have you got to lose?
Yeah. Number two,
Oh, consistency.
consistency.
Yeah.
I could say consistent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And utilize all the resources available. Like, don't just focus on one specific like learning resource. It's great to like go down different aspects, like the labs. You've got the books, you've got the videos and all that. So definitely use all of them to get all the information.
Yep. Amazing. Good stuff, mate.
Yeah.
I could tell early on in your your studies that you were going to be someone that was super successful, really diligent, really consistent. For anyone listening in, the number one thing that you should take out of this podcast is it's a simple plan, but sometimes it can be hard to stick to, right? Whatever it is, life gets in the way. If you just keep the plan simple and go, I'm going to study this amount of hours, I'm going to study these days, and you just stay consistent, keep it simple, stay consistent. I think that is really, really good advice. And it's obviously worked for you, Matthew.
Yeah.
So,
Even if it's like half an hour a day or something like that, like just something.
exactly. Yep. And that's a tip for sometimes, students can have a bit of a break over, 100% can put the tools and have a break over Christmas, which we're coming up to. But, we recommend usually no more than a couple of weeks usually, because then again, it starts to, feel like a little bit more like a chore when you're starting it back up.
Exactly.
Amazing. Matt, I know you are really, really busy and you're probably tired. You've been up for
Nah.
a lot longer than I have as well. So I really appreciate you coming on, sharing your experience and your story. It's going to, I think, motivate and inspire others to potentially do the same, mate. So I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me.
No worries. Guys, if you did enjoy this episode, please like, comment, subscribe. You can also subscribe to our podcast, but also our YouTube channel. I'm going to be posting some more content on there. And if you want to know a little bit more about our job placement program that Matt has gone through, all you need to do is head to cyberrevolution.com.au. You can leave your details there and someone from the team will be in touch. Thanks for listening.